In today's journey, we are unboxing two RJS wine kits and comparing them to some WinExpert kits that we did before. We have the Cru International in silver, which would compare to a WinExpert's World Vineyard, and a Cru Specialty in bronze, which would compare to a WinExpert Apres. And with the introductions out of the way, let's dive in. We are going to start with the Cru International. Ours is a German white. These are a nice mid-range kit for people who want to get a little more adventurous with their winemaking. My favorite thing about this level of kit is that all the grape juices hail from specific regions rather than just being generic, generalized juices. Another neat thing about this level of kit is that it starts to have more juice in the box than water that you have to add later, meaning that you get a bit more of a robust and detailed flavor in the finished wine. The lower level kits are fine, but you can really start to see where your money is going in these higher level kits. And here we can already see the first difference between an RJS and WinExpert kit. The instructions and all of the small ingredients are included inside of a small reclosable bag. This helps keep everything organized when working on multiple kits at once, without having to resort to using the boxes to keep everything together. So first we have the instructions, which we'll look at closer later. You'll have to excuse Phil, it's his first time. Although it is also the first time I've seen elderflower in a wine kit before. Although this is the first time we've done this specific wine style before. And deeper inside the pouch, we have another smaller bag, single use this time, that contains all the generic adjuncts that you need for general winemaking. And once Phil quits fumbling around, he's going to show you the EC 1118, the pretty general champagne yeast I see in almost all wine kits. A package of chitostan, which will be used for clarification later. A package of potassium sorbate, and a package of sulfite, which will be used for stabilization later on. A package of bentonite, which is clearly labeled first thing to add on day one, which is really handy to have on there, and it shows the attention to detail that this kit is taking. And then finally the package that Butterfingers dropped, the Kiosol, which will be added with the chitostan on clarification day. Now that we're nearing the end, we come across the reserve pouch, which will be almost impossible for you to read since Phil's wearing a black shirt and the text is in black. Clearly, this is one of our earlier videos. But what this pouch contains is the sugars that will be added after stabilization to create a off-dry flavor. Some kits may contain bigger, smaller, or no reserve bag at all, or have a bag of grape skins instead. And here we have our final ingredient, the juice bag itself. This contains most of the liquid and all of the sugars that will be creating the alcohol in the finished product. Although these bags are near indistinguishable from a WinExpert kit, because we're not making these today, we're going to pack them back up. Now would be a good time to check for leaks or missing parts of your kit before putting away for storage. We'll speed through some of this and some of the repeated parts in the following kit, as the resealable bag makes a heroic return. This may seem like a small detail, but it does seem like they're a bit more connected with the actual process of the final consumer making the product than WinExpert may be. And once I had a chance to read the instructions off camera, it did seem a bit more straightforward and simplified of a process. Unfortunately, we have no footage of that, as Phil made this kit with his mother at her house for the holidays. Now let's move on to the Cru Specialty. This one is the dessert Riesling. What's neat about these kits is that they don't actually require any additional water to make the wine base. Instead, these 3-gallon kits come with 3 gallons of juice ready to go into the carboy. Now that may be tempting to want to put this directly into a 3-gallon carboy. We do recommend starting with at least a 5, as this guy is going to ferment like crazy. So this kit also comes with a resealable bag, and the instructions. Do keep these instructions separate, as they have separate processes. I like to keep everything inside the box next to the carboy with the wine in it as a way to idiot-proof everything, as Phil is a huge idiot and I have to keep my eye on him. Now you may be disappointed that this kit only makes 3 gallons, but it is important to also note that because it's the dessert wine, it also is higher in alcohol content. It's the ones that you put in little tiny bottles and serve in smaller glasses. And now that Phil's done playing around, he notices the first difference is that this kit comes with labels, just like the WinExpert Apres kits would. And then we move back into more standard territory with a package of bentonite, sulfites, and another package of potassium sorbate. And here's why you don't want to ferment this in a smaller 3-gallon carboy as the primary, because it comes with 2 EC1118 yeast packets. This is going to ferment hard and fast, and it's just a 3-gallon kit. So it's basically quadruple pitched. Which is why these kits also come with an additional package of potassium sorbate to kill off that yeast later. And here we're back with the Kiosol and Chitostan as the clarifying agents, but they're the same size that you would use on a 6-gallon batch, so we're still using twice as much. Because these non-concentrated kits don't mess around. Because this is going to be a sweeter wine, it definitely doesn't mess around when it comes to this reserve pouch. This is where the sweetness is going to come through after we stabilize, because that EC1118 is going to make this wine super dry before the end of its fermentation. And with the reserve out of the way, we can move on to the juice base pouch. Inside of this is going to be all of the liquid that is going to make up this wine kit. This makes the Apres and the Cru specialty level kits some of my favorite ones to make because you have no water to add whatsoever to these kits. So they come out tasting amazing, and they often have some of the most out there flavors, including creme brulee and mocha raspberry. Although some of them are seasonal and must be pre-ordered to get your hands on them, but they make amazing holiday gifts. Unfortunately, we missed our opportunity to order one of the limited edition kits, but this kit is available all year round. And with that, we start to pack everything up, as we're going to make these at a different location this time. We're also going to review these after they've had some time to age rather than right away. So if you want to make sure you don't miss that, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe below. Watching Phil pretend to know how to read is always good for a laugh.